Hear Something Good from the Seneca Women Podcast Network and iHeartRadio is a great way to start your day on the positive side of life. Brought to you in partnership with Bounty Paper Towels. Check out our episode on home hygiene. It has excellent advice from a doctor who's an infectious disease specialist, and you'll also get some great cleaning tips from Bounty Paper Towels. They not only make cleaning more convenient, but they also leave your surfaces cleaner than used dishcloths, and they're disposable. For great advice and tips, listen to the Here's Something Good podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are so close to all being together, we can sense it. From hearts beating out of our chest, baby scents that whisper, I love you, to hugs and kisses from childhood. Because getting closer and closer together is priceless. Learn more about the COVID-19 vaccines at mastercard.us/getvacsupport and start something priceless.
Thanks for listening to the Odd Couple podcast. Be sure to catch us live every weekday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Find your local station for the Odd Couple at foxsportsradio.com or stream us live every day on the iHeartRadio app by searching FSR.
Now let's get this party started.
You're listening to Fox Sports Radio.
All right, it is the Odd Couple. I'm Chris Broussard, and my man VJ Husky, the Big Vanilla Funny, is in for Rob Parker, and we're coming to you live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. You can catch us on social media. I'm at Chris_Broussard on Twitter, Chris Broussard68 on Instagram. VJ, tell them where they can find you, brother.
They can find me on VESN Sports on Twitter, man. VESN Sports on Twitter. And also the VESN Sports channel on YouTube.
All right. We got Matt Sullivan, who's an award-winning editor and author. And he wrote a book, man, I can't wait to read this book. It's called Can't Knock the Hustle: Inside the Season of Protest, Pandemic, and Progress with the Brooklyn Nets Superstars of Tomorrow. In case you don't know, that's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. It's in stores now, and man, that sounds like a good book. So he's coming up at the bottom of the hour, so we're going to really get into it with him on that. But let's go to Team USA, and Steve Kerr will be coaching it. And Kevin Durant, who, of course, won 2 championships with Steve Kerr in Golden State, will play on Team USA. And obviously they have much success together, but, you know, that relationship was testy at times.
Yep.
And Steve Kerr came out today, was it, I believe, and gave Kevin Durant really high praise. Here it is.
You played with Michael Jordan, and
I know.
KD's.
I know. I think he's more gifted. I really do. I mean, that's saying something, but Kevin is a entirely different breed. I mean, 6'11", with guard skills, unlimited three-point range, passing, shot blocking at the rim. It's just stunning. And watching him this year was really, really gratifying to see.
All right, Vijay, I'm going to let you have first dibs at this one, man. What do you think of those comments?
I think what Steve Kerr is doing is what Steve Kerr has always done. Steve Kerr knows where his plants are watered. He knows where his bread is buttered. He know, who made the greens and the potato salad at the cookout. He knows where to go to. He knows what to say. And I think what he's doing here is I don't want to use the word pacify, but he's bigging up his guy. He played with Jordan, yes, but this guy helped him win 2 championships as a coach and helped keep that thing rolling, Golden State. Now, with that being said, I think he's wrong. And it's not to just be on, Jordan, but yeah, 7-footer, can handle like a guard, can shoot. But Jordan had like that that I think people still question whether Durant has. He left Oklahoma City.
Well, you're talking about an intangible.
Yeah, exactly. An intangible, but a lot of times intangible will help you win championships in sports. And I think he can't catch that with Jordan. Jordan had the ultimate intangible, whether people liked it or not. He said in The Last Dance, if you don't want to lead that way, don't. But this is how I did it, and this is why I'm 6-0 in the finals. And I don't think Durant has that. I don't think Durant is the scorer. I mean, he's number 5 all time behind MJ, Will, Elgin, and the logo. Kevin Durant's at number 5 at 27 a night. Over his 27 a night over his career. So he's not the scorer Jordan was. Jordan's only a rebound or assist or two behind him, even in those categories. So I think Steve Kerr's just, kind of pacifying his guy. And who knows? Durant may end up back in Golden State if things don't work out in Brooklyn a year or two. Can he opt out after next season or something?
But I don't expect to see that.
We didn't expect to see him leave Oklahoma City for Golden State neither.
There's no way he's going back to Golden State.
I'll put wings on it.
Yo, we can put wings on that for sure.
If they don't,
if he doesn't go back to Golden State, you owe me wings?
Yeah. If they do, okay. but I'm telling you, it could be
up to Andy, brother.
Up to Andy. Then. I ain't scared.
You know what we bet around here?
I ain't scared. Oh, some
Jordans.
First of all,
if Kevin Durant never plays for the Warriors again, you gonna buy me a pair of Jordans?
Hold on. First of all, I boycott Jordans. I don't wear Jordans anymore.
So I'll buy you some buddies. What you want? What you want?
Some what?
Y'all, I don't know if you a little younger than me, but when I was coming up, it was buddies. They make your feet feel fine, buddies. Yeah. They cost $1.99. So if you want some of them, I can do that. I can do that.
I think if they get eliminated early, next year in the playoffs, second round, either conference final, they don't make it to the finals. He will entertain the idea of going back to Golden State, and they would have open arms. And because I think Durant's built that way.
But why? Why would he go back to Golden State?
Because he wants the accolades. He said it about leaving Oklahoma City. Here I am. I left. I did everything that LeBron did. LeBron left and went and got a team. I went and left and got a team.
LeBron went to Cleveland.
I know. Miami. I'm talking about when he went back to Miami. When he left Cleveland the first time, went to Miami. Durant has spoke openly about that, and this guy won, and he got all the accolades. I did the same thing, and then I beat him head to head twice. Why aren't you guys cheering for me? Those were Durant's words.
But my point is, that's all well and good, but what does that have to do with him going back to Golden State?
Because he would want because you left and you didn't get the rings, and with the Nets, and he's going to need more than 2, right? Don't you think Durant's going to need more than 2?
I can't imagine he would go back to Golden State.
Saying, hey,
it just doesn't. I mean,
I'm pulling on a big branch.
If he can't get rings with James Harden and Kyrie Irving, then I'm not guaranteeing you're going to go back to Golden State and get rings.
I am. He go back to Golden State with still Steph, Clay, and Draymond and whatever they may add, Wiggins and whatever they may add. Listen, I don't like low-hanging fruit. You know me by now, Chris. I like to really leap out on my predictions. This is a huge...
You leaping out, bro.
Exactly.
You off the cliff. You in the water. You dead.
And imagine if I cash in, though.
All right, we will see. We'll see. Yeah. But here's where I'm going to go. And I do think you're pretty right on Kerr and what he was trying to do. Yeah. Obviously, look, he's got to coach this guy in the Olympics. Yep. And he obviously wants it to be comfortable, and he wants the relationship to be restored. So I get all that. But I'm saying, here's what I'm going to say, bro. I think he didn't mean it this way, but it's an insult. Not to Michael Jordan, but to Kevin Durant.
Oh.
If you are more gifted than Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, and I'm not saying he is, but I'm talking about Steve Kerr, then why in the world have you not accomplished half?
Yeah.
And that's not a figure of speech. Literally, you have not accomplished half of what Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan won 6 championships. Half would be 3. Kevin Durant's won 2. Michael Jordan won 10 scoring titles. Half would be 5. Kevin Durant's won 4.
Yep.
Michael Jordan won 5 MVPs. Half would be 2.5. I'll give you 2. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's won 1. He literally, and I'm not saying he's half the player or not half the player Jordan is. Kevin Durant is an all-time great, top 15 player. The dude is bad. So I ain't throwing no shade at KD. But I'm saying, if he's more gifted than Michael Jordan, but you have not achieved half of what Jordan did? How many years has Durant played? Durant's played 12 years. Jordan played 15. We could really throw out Washington.
Of course.
He played 13 in Chicago. He was hurt 1 year. 1 year he was hurt. Another year he came back and played 18 games after baseball. So really he played 11 full seasons, but Durant's been hurt too. So just compare Chicago Jordan to this Durant. In basically the same amount of time, he has not achieved half of what Michael Jordan did.
Against harder.
And if that, then that is saying there is something missing from Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And you brought up the intangibles. That means Jordan had the intangibles in spades, and Kevin Durant's really lacking them. If Steve Kerr's right, I'm with you. I'm not saying he's more gifted than Jordan. No. But if you say he's more gifted than Jordan, then why in the world has he achieved so much less than Michael Jordan?
Because you can be gifted and still have some shortcomings. That's something else I wanted to pinpoint this too. Steve Kerr's so smart. Look at the adjective that he used. Gifted. Didn't say talented. Didn't say better. Didn't say, right. I mean.
It's very vague.
It's very vague. Very exactly. You could just say gift. VJ Vernon, he's gifted at sports. There's so much open. Then somebody could come in and then you could let whoever you want to let pick apart. But I think Kevin Durant is thin-skinned enough to look at this and go, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that's right. My old coach called me more gifted than Michael. Not really even digging deeper into the thing. Like I said, Steve Kerr knew what he was doing. This was perfectly planned, and that word gifted was very smart for him to use that word.
Yeah, and like you said, it's very vague. I'll just look at it. Now, Kevin Durant, yes, he's a 7-footer who has a silky smooth jump shot and got major handle. He's not one of the best ball handlers in the league, but he's got really good handle for a guy that size. He can get to wherever he wants to go.
Yeah.
But Giannis Antetokounmpo is more athletic. Same size or actually bigger and more athletic. Shaq I could argue Shaq was as gifted. Like Kevin Durant's gifted in the jump shot, which obviously took a lot of hard work. Like that, you didn't just come out of the crib shooting jumpers. I do think certain people, for some reason, have, they may have more of a, whether it's hand-eye coordination or touch or whatever it is. Some people just have a gift for that. But no matter what your gift is for it, you still have to work really hard at it.
Absolutely.
So Kevin Durant, his best asset is something he just worked at. Was that a gift? Gifts to me are speed, quickness, coordination, jumping ability, height. Now, he's got the height. That's a gift.
Yeah.
But he's, again, not the most athletic 7-footer. Athletic, no doubt. But, not wowing you with his athleticism.
Yeah.
He can jump, yes. But guys jump higher.
He's not a leaper.
Yeah,
he could jump, but you wouldn't categorize him as a leaper.
Right. So I'm just wondering, the gift, Kevin Durant has worked hard to develop that jump shot from day one. And I don't know that that's a gift. So, Shaq is really gifted. Shaq is 7 feet and huge, like hefty.
Yeah.
But yet, you remember him in Orlando?
Of course.
Major league athleticism. Strength. Shaq could do a lot that he didn't show. If Shaq played today, he could be a perimeter, do some things on the perimeter. He did have those skills, and he would have worked on them to have him at an even higher level
Lakers
if he played
Shaq
today.
Or the Orlando Shaq?
Well, but Orlando, but I'm saying if it was the same league, if it was the league today and Shaq was playing in it, we wouldn't have seen Lakers Shaq. We'd have seen bits and pieces of it, but he would also shot jumpers.
Yeah.
He would have handled, because we've seen him in Orlando push the ball up in transition. People laughed about it, and he joked about it because it was just unusual at that time. But he was gifted. Wilt Chamberlain was gifted. You're right. Gifted is just a very vague term that could mean anything. But I'm just saying, like, if Kevin Durant's that much more gifted than Michael Jordan, then it's insulting because he hasn't done half of what Jordan did.
And another thing about this, because my mind just goes deep with certain topics when it came out. When I first read this, and Pippen's got a book coming out, I'm like, hold up, man. Why is everybody taking shots at is this the time where now we
Kevin
turn?
Durant?
No,
at Michael Jordan.
At Michael Jordan. It's like, is this the time where we turn? Because of course, the headline is Steve Kerr, colon. Durant more gifted than MJ. You know how media does. They got to put the headline up there. So draws that Scottie Pippen's book's coming out, and all the excerpts are, they wouldn't have been nothing without him. He didn't feel like he had Jordan had his back, and blah 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 blah. I'm sure there's a lot more in the book which I'm going to buy and read. But it's just funny to me. It's like, man, we waited, didn't have no sports last year. ESPN pushed up the document for us to get The Last Dance, and then we started picking Jordan apart from episode 1, and now we got this, and then. And my mind just went there like, guys, is this the era now where we built Jordan up? Is this the tear down? Because the tear downs never come, right? We build him up to tear him down. That's society. I'm like, man, is this the tear down part?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody's buying the tear down.
I hope not.
But Kevin Durant, awesome player, great career already, and still more to do. But more gifted than MJ. I don't know.
You said top 15.
I'm not going there.
You got him. You got him top 15 all time?
Yep.
Right now?
Yep. Yep.
I got him top 25. I don't know about top 15.
Wow, 25.
Yeah. Yes. Chris, you and I've had top 10 discussions. I try to take my heart. I really try to take my heart and my love out of it and just look at basketball over the eras just for what it is. I really do try to take my heart out of it, man, especially being on a professional level, and just say, no, I don't think this guy's there. I got him here. This is why I pay homage to a lot of older guys, because I think we forget about a lot of older guys because we're accustomed to just loving what we see now. And if you ask somebody, what's your top 10 now? They'll name you 5 players that played in the last 15 years. It's like, come on, bro. Like there was,
most people that really do this for a living probably wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But, I feel what you're saying. Yeah. All right. We're going to you guys. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Was Steve Kerr actually insulting? I mean, I don't think he didn't mean to insult him, but was he insulting Kevin Durant saying he's more gifted than MJ? What are your thoughts on Steve Kerr's saying Kevin Durant is more gifted than Michael Jordan? 877-99 on Fox. Your turn to weigh in with the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Fox Sports Radio has the best sports talk lineup in the nation. Catch all of our shows at foxsportsradio.com. And within the iHeartRadio app, search FSR to listen live.
Hey, it's Ben, host of the Fifth Hour with Ben Maller, along with my trusty sidekick, David Gascon. Would mean a lot to have you join us on our weekly auditory journey. You're asking, what in God's name is the Fifth Hour? I'll tell you, it's a spin-off of the Ben Maller Show, a cult hit overnights on FSR. Why should you listen? Picture, if you will, a world where we chat with captains of industry in media, sports, and more every week. Explore some amazing facts about human nature and more. Listen to the Fifth Hour with Ben Maller on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Those other mobile companies make you think you're in control, but you're really not. They lure you in with shiny new phones and then lock you into long-term contracts. But Simple Mobile is different. You can get a 30-day plan starting at $25. You can also get the latest smartphones, or if you have a compatible phone you love, you can bring it. Just text BYOP, as in bring your own phone, to 611-611 to see if your phone is compatible. It's the reliability you need when you need it. All on a powerful nationwide 5G network with no mystery fees, no activation fees, and no contract. Ever. All for less money and no contract. Ever. 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. 5G network not available in all areas. 5G upload speed not yet available. Message and data rates may apply. Visit simplemobile.com/privacy policy for privacy policy. Service plan required for activation. Terms at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
We are so close to all being together, we can sense it. From hearts beating out of our chest, baby scents that whisper, I love you. to hugs and kisses from childhood. Because getting closer and closer together is priceless. Learn more about the COVID-19 vaccines at mastercard.us/getvacsupport and start something priceless.
All right, it is The Odd Couple. I'm Chris Broussard, my man VJ Husky in for Rob Parker on a TV theme song Thursday. And we're coming to you live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, brought to you by AutoZone. AutoZone's got more ways for you to start your job your way. That means getting what you need fast, because some jobs just can't wait. That's why AutoZone offers free same-day store pickup. Free next-day delivery is available on more than 100,000 parts at AutoZone. So visit AutoZone.com today to start your job fast. Get in the zone, AutoZone. All right, 877-99 on Fox. We threw it out to you. What do you think about Steve Kerr's comments about Kevin Durant being more gifted than Michael Jordan?
We will start with Joe out of Orlando. Joe, you are live right now. Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and VJ Husky. Man, you agree with Steve Kerr or not?
Yes, sir. I got to agree on him to some aspect. I would agree that Kevin Durant is a one-on-one as far as offensively. In my eyes, he's the greatest offensive weapon we've seen just from that aspect. Now, as far as Jordan, that will to win and to dominate, that's only been matched maybe to one other person, and that's the late, great Kobe. As far as just sure will to win, it's only going to be Mike and Kobe that are in that category. But as far as offensively gifted, you got to give it to KD. He's 7 foot, handle the rock the way that he does, to shoot the ball the way that he does. He's a one-on-one. He's gonna go down.
Why is he one more? So is that saying he's lacking intangibles? If he's so gifted,
the league is more. The influx of talent is more. The way the players are, the way that they build, it's kind of like the NFL with quarterbacks, how they're specialized at a young age. It's the NBA is the same way. You go on IG, you'll always see a 5-year-old, 6-year-old doing dribbling drills nowadays. So I think the influx of talent has caused the league to be a little bit more tougher than what it may have been back then. Jordan set the standard. We got to remember that. Jordan set the standard. He set the standard of coming to camp ready to play. He was the one that set that standard. So when it comes to guys coming after Jordan, it's hard to judge because Jordan was the one that set the standard of how to be great in the league.
Well, there were dudes. Come on, man. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird were great. They set a standard.
Okay,
Jordan wasn't the first to do that.
But didn't Magic Johnson also have females at the hotel after the game? Jordan wanted to win.
Yeah, Mike
Jordan
was going back
winning.
And just watching movies.
Jordan was about winning.
All right.
Jordan was about
Next
winning.
caller. All right.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, though. I don't agree with him, but to the point of the influx of talent and it being so spread, I'll just double down on that and say maybe that's why the super team era kind of did start, because there was so much influx of talent and you might have had a few more teams to go through. Maybe that's where he was trying to go. I'm not saying I agree with him, but I think that's where he was trying to go, because I don't know if I buy the influx of talent thing just because you got kids dribbling on YouTube. So moving on, though. We'll go to, says from the South, Nick, you're live right now on The Odd Couple. Chris Broussard, VJ Husky. Are you riding with Steve Kerr, or is Jordan still the man?
Oh, man, Jordan's still the man, dude. I think Steve Kerr is blowing smoke. So outside of height, there's really nothing KD is more gifted at than Jordan. So he's a naturally good shooter, but he still had to work at it. Jordan was quicker, bigger, stronger, faster, and far more of a killer on the court. So KD's a phenomenal player, but outside of scoring points, he hasn't really left his mark on the game. So I want to give him his flowers for Game 5, but let's not get carried away. And then quick point, Chris, I'm glad you brought up Shaq because, man, in his prime, the way he moved for a 7-foot big man,
right,
that was gifted.
Nah, that's a good point. I think that's a good call overall. I mean, he brought up some – because he's right. Outside of height, what does Kevin Durant have over Michael Jordan?
Yeah. And Jordan was a better defender. Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year.
And it's not like they're equal in other things. Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So, but I mean, I think he agrees with us. Like Kerr's kind of he's buttering his bread right now. So moving on, Andre up in Massachusetts. Andre live right now. Odd couple, Chris Broussard, VJ Husky, not as gifted or better or more gifted than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call. Nowhere near as gifted as Michael Jordan, and we know that on basic principle. I think The Last Dance did a good job of showing you just what a monster Michael Jordan was from day one. Never mind being MVP of the McDonald's All-American game in 1981. We know what Bobby Knight said about Michael Jordan after the 1984 Olympics, to Portland Trailblazers. You need somebody after the dream at center. You draft Jordan, you play him at center because there's no doubt about it that he's the best overall player. And so Steve, he's a well-meaning guy. He's a nice guy, has a good way about him, so he wanted to say some nice things about KD after he put the Nets on his back. But he just took it he just took it so far beyond what was necessary that he has to be reeled in. What Durant did, and what he showed, he's the best player on the planet, I think, right now, based off what we saw. But Michael Jordan, what he did in '89 when he had to play point guard, averaging a triple-double, he just reached for the wrong example. Steve,
right, you wonder why did he go that far?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have. So thank you for taking the call, but Steve, you need to kiss the ring and put a lot more respect on MJ's name, please.
Ooh.
That's our man Andre. We got Matt Sullivan, award-winning editor and author, coming up. But first,
Fox Sports Radio has the best sports talk lineup in the nation. Catch all of our shows at foxsportsradio.com. And within the iHeartRadio app, search FSR to listen live.
We're the Odd Couple, coming to you live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. Our next guest is an award-winning editor and author, and he's written his latest book. It's in stores now. It's called Can't Knock the Hustle: Inside the Season of Protest, Pandemic, and Progress with the Brooklyn Nets Superstars of Tomorrow. It is Matt Sullivan. Matt, welcome to the Odd Couple.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Nah, it's great to have you, man. The book sounds incredible. I can't wait to read it. Now, let me ask you, is it more about the 2019-2020 season, or how much of this season does it have in it? James Harden, Kyrie's, taking time off and things like that.
It's kind of the origin story of this super team, perhaps dynasty in the making. But the book kind of threads between that origin story through the whole China thing off of Daryl Morey, where the Nets were stuck there with the Lakers, through Kobe, who's obviously, had his last public appearance at a Nets game and was really close to Kai, then into the pandemic when, remember, the Nets had all this testing when nobody could. KD's positive test kind of shook up the world. The protests in Brooklyn, into Kyrie trying to break up the bubble, half the Nets getting the virus in the bubble, and then Harden kind of poof out of nowhere. But the book also, traces back over the last 10 years of player empowerment, tracing back to the decision, who Jay-Z really tried to get to the Nets. So it's kind of setting the stage for everything that's come this year. And obviously it's been another wild year in hoops for the Nets. And I think the best is yet to come for him.
Matt Sullivan, VJ Husky here, man. I had a chance to kind of look up the book before I came in, and like Chris said, great job. It looks super interesting. I myself too cannot wait to read it. My question is about Kyrie, because I'm a big Kyrie fan, and the way he's really asserted himself with his culture and his blackness. He got into it with Dennis Schroeder earlier this year. Dennis Schroeder used a certain word against him, and he's really putting that on the forefront. As you mentioned, he did try to break up the bubble. My question is, what did you learn about Kyrie in the process of doing this book?
Look, we all know he's been a heady dude for a long time. I went to Duke. He went to Duke. We know he's smart. He's well-read. He's willing to, push the envelope. The flat earther thing's actually a pretty good example of him being willing to question the system, whether that's a little out there or increasingly over the last couple of years, much more engaged and activated. He has, had some moments that have really turned the corner for him. He's always been a good humanitarian, done great things behind the scenes. But Breonna Taylor really got to him. George Floyd really got to him. He kind of had this education and activism alongside his guy, Steven Jackson. And they together kind of helped the Floyd family. And Kyrie paid for a house for George Floyd's daughter and her mom. And as he got into this bubble thing, I think it was misinterpreted, as he often is. He was seeking unity. He was seeking, is this really a good look for us all to go be entertainers, to make billions back for the NBA, for Disney, for ESPN? or is it a bad look and should we be fighting the good fight in the streets? And I think Kyrie's been very vocal over the last year and especially this past season about, we're not just entertainers. We're human beings. We have mental health issues. We have bigger fights to fight. And I think, as I reported in GQ today, Kyrie's been sitting out the anthem since he got back from his break. And a lot of people thought that break was kind of, just disappearing from the team and going to a maskless party and getting the virus and screwing over his team. Well, it was sort of paternity leave, but it was also precipitated by the Capitol riot, by the lack of charges for the cop who shot Jacob Blake, which you'll remember is the exact incident that made the bubble boycott happen in the first place. And that was after Kai was right all along.
So you said sitting out the anthem. Is he staying in the locker room? Like, what is he doing?
I checked it out a bunch this season, and I didn't want to report it until I was really sure. And about 10 minutes before tip-off, he'll walk out of layup lines very subtly back to the tunnel. About a minute later, KD will follow him toward the tunnel, toward the locker room. DeAndre Jordan also hasn't been out when the anthem ceremony begins. Now, the Nets aren't the only team who's kind of phalanxed before the anthem shrunk a little there, but it was very noticeable to me as someone who'd been following the team, watching the anthem. It's a big part of my book is how the NBA did or didn't follow Cap's lead there. And, when I talked to, multiple sources close to these guys, close to the Nets, they made clear this is not like a bathroom break. This is not extra stretching. Right. It's not necessarily a silent protest, but you look at these guys and where they've been and where they're not. As Kyrie's aunt, who runs this family foundation, said to me, if he feels strongly about something, he's going to take a stance. It might not be a silent protest per se, but it's a reflection of who he is and who he's becoming.
I saw a report today that in your book, it mentions that the Nets could actually look to trade Kyrie or at least consider it. And maybe it was in an interview that you said it, and it was connected to these breaks. I think in total it was 2 breaks he took for 3 weeks total. Tell us about the breaks. Like you mentioned, the Breonna Taylor and all that. Did any of it have anything to do with mental health? And do you think how did that play over with the Nets brain trust? And do you think they actually may look to moving?
Look, Kai has requested several mental health days in his career. He's entitled to it. He is leading the charge in making clear that this is a day job, that his purpose in life is bigger. Video of the maskless family birthday party kind of resulted in more fuel for this, easy villainy. I think some people were saying he should announce his retirement today, and he gets fined by the NBA because of the strict protocols. His inner circle tells me that quote-unquote pause amounted to more like a spiritual, mental, emotional kind of leave of absence for him and his growing family. Recently welcomed a son. Paternity leave is totally cool, right? But it was, there was the Capitol riot. There was this real-life stuff going on. Now, ownership has had to deal with a lot of his disappearing act, right? When he was hurt last year, he kind of just disappeared from the team. Then Coach Kenny Atkinson was wondering, should I fly halfway across the country in the middle of the season, take a game off, just so I'm getting closer with this guy while he seeks second, third, fourth opinions? Kyrie doesn't necessarily trust that system, but I think we're increasingly seeing the push and pull of, okay, Kyrie and KD came to Brooklyn not because of, the Zapruder video of 2 max slots. It's because they could control the franchise. They could control their coach, their teammates, et cetera, et cetera. There's been a little friction there with Kyrie specifically. Do I think they're going to up and trade him? No. I think that management has some issues, and sometimes you send up a smoke signal to make sure that you realize, yes, it may be your day job, but there's a guy who pays your paychecks here. And so what I really heard was just kind of rumblings, maybe grumblings, that he's on thin ice with the disappearing act. And I'm sure that Kyrie has, KD's got his back, Harden's got his back. These guys can't wait to get back in the gym together. I just think the Nets need to send a message to him, which was sent while he was on this absence. I don't think he's on the market. I think Sean Marks is always willing to listen to anybody. But it really comes down to Steve Nash just getting his big three together, getting them healthy, and getting these guys what they want, which is the right people around them and the right atmosphere. As Steve Nash puts it in his kind of secret motto for the team is protect the group. And that's what Kyrie wants, is insulation, and he's just got to respect it back.
I will also say this too. The Duke guys are smart. I won't hold that against you, being from a Tar Heel family and definitely having a relative that played on the basketball team there. But Duke guys are really smart, and that's why what has always attracted me to Kyrie is his ability to go against the grain, not push the apple cart, upset the apple cart, but just be his own man. I've always respected that about him. Your biggest takeaway from this entire process that you've been involved in, Matt?
You know, the spirits of yesteryear really run through to the next generation. I think that's what guys kept saying to me in their real talk. You know, Kobe, his spirit, you know, may rest in peace, was obviously permeating through this entire season I followed. And, you know, he pushed the buttons, and so Kyrie pushed some buttons. You know, there's a great scene in the book where Bill Russell, of all people, rolls through this random little gym in Seattle while Kyrie's rehabbing in 2018, kind of falling in and out of love with the Celtics. And Jamal Crawford just set up these pickup games. Zach LaVine's there. And Bill Russell would, you know, sit around, watch these guys play runs to 125. They'd come over, sit, just pull up some chairs, campfire style. For one day, Bill Russell would talk for 5 minutes about their game. The next day, half an hour about the Freedom Rides in the 60s. And the next day, an hour, 2 hours. But Kyrie and Bill, Mr. Russell, shall we call him, would you know, sit aside, talk about the Celtics, talk about the game, talk about real life. And I thought it was interesting what one of Kyrie's friends described to me as, you know, them talking about race in Boston, and Bill Russell always said, I thought of myself as playing for the Celtics, not for Boston. And Kyrie's, you know, friend said that Kyrie said, wait a minute, I'm trying to champion Boston, but now that I'm looking at the history of Boston, is this a city that I want to champion in terms of their racial history and stuff like that? Is Boston the type of place I want to represent? So you see this stuff permeating from one generation to the next, and then Kyrie pushes the button, right? Then he says in a press conference, what about this subtle racism? And then lo and behold, you've got fans throwing stuff at superstars the whole next 2 weeks. So I think there's a brain trust of the NBA brotherhood from one generation to the next, and that real talk is starting to come out. And I felt a lot of that in my book, and I feel like it's coming out into the open, and it's taken a lot of generations to pass down. And I think the next generation of Hoopers will be even more outspoken, activists, and wearing their hearts on their sleeves.
Matt, great stuff, man. The book is Can't Knock the Hustle, Inside the Season of Protest, Pandemic, and Progress with the Brooklyn Nets Superstars of Tomorrow. It is in stores now. You definitely need to pick it up. I need to pick it up as well. Can't wait to read it. Matt Sullivan, great stuff, man. We appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep. All right. Is history repeating itself with Giannis and the Bucks? We'll get into that next. Chris Broussard, VJ Husky, Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Fox Sports Radio has the best sports talk lineup in the nation. Catch all of our shows at foxsportsradio.com. And within the iHeartRadio app, search FSR to listen live.
The incredible impact that Black culture and music have on the world speaks for itself. Even as we've transitioned to a new way of living, it's helped us to find meaning and celebration through it all. Ford wants to take a moment to give huge applause for the continuous influence of Black music. Music is a form of expression, and Black music takes that form to new levels. Singing through the pain and dancing in cheerful moments wouldn't be satisfied without the instrumentals and vocals that Black music provides us with. Ford wants to show our commitment to Black Americans and respect for the legacy they hold. Black music encourages others to express their truth and honor life's journey. Ford partnered with DJ D-Nice to discuss the legacy and future of Black music, what inspires him, and how he brought people together through the universal language of music during a pandemic. Ford is recognizing Black cultural moments like this throughout the year, especially this June for Black Music Month. When we remember, recognize, and respect, we all move forward. Built Ford proud. Built Ford tough. The incredible impact that Black culture and music have on the world speaks for itself. Even as we've transitioned to a new way of living, it's helped us to find meaning and celebration through it all. Ford wants to take a moment to give huge applause for the continuous influence of Black music. Music is a form of expression, and Black music takes that form to new levels. Singing through the pain and dancing in cheerful moments wouldn't be satisfied without the instrumentals and vocals that Black music provides us with. Ford wants to show our commitment to Black Americans and respect for the legacy they hold. Black music encourages others to express their truth and honor life's journey. Ford partnered with DJ D-Nice to discuss the legacy and future of Black music, What inspires him and how he brought people together through the universal language of music during a pandemic. Ford is recognizing Black cultural moments like this throughout the year, especially this June for Black Music Month. When we remember, recognize, and respect, we all move forward. Built Ford proud. Built Ford tough.
That's a funky little theme song. That's the Wayans brothers.
Yes.
It is TV theme song Thursday on the Odd Couple. You only get funk like this on the Odd Couple. All right, we coming to you live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. My man VJ Husky in for Rob Parker. And the Milwaukee Bucks, I think it was a shock to most. I was stunned. Skip Bayless picked Atlanta to win this series. I picked the Bucks. Shannon picked the Bucks. Who'd you pick, VJ?
On my show, I have Hawks in 6.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last week, about 3 days ago on my show. Yep, Hawks in 6.
Do you think, if you're right, if the Hawks win this thing in 6, does that say anything about Giannis? Is that more him being exposed, or what's your thoughts?
I would rather talk more about Chris Middleton, which I do on my show. Is I think we throw so much on Giannis. Everybody knows you need a Batman to a Superman in this league. That's just the way it is. Chris Middleton to me is not a Batman. He's a Flash.
Well, of course
he's an Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Giannis is gonna get the blame, but he's still just kind of, for the most part, I don't want to say by himself, but, for the most part, you said it yourself, right? He's dropping 30 and 10 or 30 and 12 or what have you. So I'm sure sports fans and Twitter and everybody will beat up on him because that's just kind of what we do. But I don't know if it says anything about him, because should he even be in this round? Kyrie steps on his ankle and that series changes. Harden hurts the hamstring. That series is pretty much over. Durant does what he does to overtime game 7. His feet are too big and they could be home. If Durant wore 2 sizes smaller, they'd be home anyway. So it's almost like, does he even should he even be here in this round? So I mean, it's a coin flip.
So you don't think the Bucks are an elite team?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I wholly disagree.
They're not.
They're clearly an elite
No,
team.
they're not. No,
There's
they're not,
no
CJ.
shame in losing to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving or James Harden. I mean, if they had lost to Brooklyn, and like you said, if Brooklyn's healthy, then I think Brooklyn beats them. But there's no shame. I think Brooklyn beats everybody if they're healthy.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's clearly elite.
No.
Now, they don't have a super team, because you're right in that Giannis is their only superstar. And Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are on again, off again all-stars.
Yep.
They'll make it here and there. Drew's made 1. Middleton's made 2, I believe. And that's what you get from those type of players, inconsistency. The problem for the Bucks is that because Giannis isn't a closer, he's your Batman, of course. But because he's not a closer, Chris Middleton's become the closer. Kind of by default. Because, hey, Giannis can't do it, so we got to go to Middleton.
Yeah.
And he's not that caliber of player. He's very good. He deserves the all-star teams he's made. He probably will make another 1 or 2, but he's not a star-level player or perennial all-star level player, which usually you have as your second guy. Here's what I think it says about Giannis, because even though he can't shoot, and that's why he's not the go-to guy, he could be a go-to guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be, I don't want him to play in the post most of the game. I'm not saying make him an old school big man, because he can do too much on the perimeter. But I am saying in those moments where I need a bucket, put him on the block or get him in the post, have him flashing, cutting, getting buckets down low. Not just follow-up dunks or things like that. But you could put him, whether he faces you up and then goes to the back down, or you just post him up old school style on occasion. His go-to game should be down low.
Yeah.
Jump hook with either hand. Turn around, but not a turnaround fadeaway, but turning around going toward the basket. Like yesterday, he had Trae Young. He was trying to post up Trae Young or back him down in the middle of the paint, and Giannis shot a fadeaway.
Yep.
And missed it, but a fadeaway over a guy that's at least a foot shorter than you. So I think those are the things. Yes, of course, you got to work on your three-point shot, work on your mid-range jumper if you're Giannis in the offseason. But for the time being, you can still be a go-to guy if you'll just go down low in those moments. And some of that can be on their coaching staff, that you got to teach that to Giannis and get him to do it and put him down there. But that's what I'm seeing. And until your go-to guy, Chris Middleton, isn't that caliber of star probably that you need in that role.
No, I agree. 100%.
All right, we got an hour left of the Odd Couple. Chris and VJ, keep it locked. Yeah, Find them. Are they from Rob G? No, not notes. Okay, need to record these. Here we go. It's just a few liners. All right. I'm going to knock this out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Iowa Sam, watch this. Watch this, bro. Watch this, bro. All right, here we go. Thanks to our sponsor, Searchlight Pictures, presenting the acclaimed music documentary, Summer of Soul. With never-before-seen footage, director Questlove brings the nearly forgotten 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival to music fans today. Summer of Soul will be released this Friday in theaters and on Hulu. Thanks to our sponsor, Searchlight Pictures, presenting the acclaimed music documentary, Summer of Soul. In his award-winning directorial debut. In his award-winning directorial debut, Questlove from The Roots brings the nearly forgotten 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival to music fans today. Summer of Soul will be released this Friday in theaters and on Hulu. Thanks to our sponsor, Searchlight Pictures, presenting the acclaimed music documentary, Summer of Soul. With never-before-seen footage, director Questlove brings the nearly forgotten 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival to music fans today. Summer of Soul is now playing in theaters and on Hulu. Thanks to our sponsor, Searchlight Pictures, presenting the acclaimed music documentary, Summer of Soul. In his award-winning directorial debut, Questlove from The Roots brings the nearly forgotten 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival to music fans today. Summer of Soul is now playing in theaters and on Hulu.
At Acuity Insurance, we believe the things you do for your business are heroic, and you deserve someone equally heroic to protect them. We put our all into covering your business so you can focus on the things you love most. That's the power of heart. Acuity Insurance, wholeheartedly for you.
Didn't catch the latest Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast? Here's what you missed.
The Republicans are going to call you socialist regardless. Look at what's happening right now with Warnock in Atlanta. Oh my God, scary Warnock.
It's real, it's raw, it's Roland Martin Unfiltered.
There always are going to brand Democrats as radical, left, socialist.
Download the Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast on the iHeartRadio app and listen to Roland Martin's daily commentary on the Black Information Network.